Well, hello internets, here we are. We have ourselves a little bit of a potentially long or exciting day ahead of us. We're gonna take ourselves a little bit of a road trip, get ourselves good and lost, experience some sights, and it is what it is. So, we will see y'all from the road. It's kind of neat to see old, smaller towns, kind of how, even though these towns were founded, you know, 80, 90 years, 100 years ago or so, and there has been some upgrades and improvement, it is still like, it's like the 1960s in some of these towns. Some of them don't even have stoplights or street lights. Some of them don't even have curbs or sidewalks. They're just a quiet, small little gathering of houses that seem to be hanging on and surviving in this modern world. Went a little further on down the road and went and visited a couple of cemeteries. And once again, you know, looking at the dates on the headstones, you got like, you know, 1930s, 1934s, you know, and then there's like a gap where there's not much activity in that cemetery until the 90s, and then there's another gap between the early part of the 90s and then the early part of the 2000s, and then in the later part of the 2010s there was nothing till just a year or so ago. I've often wondered, you know, visiting cemeteries, if the stories of the people that were laid to rest there, you know, were they pioneers, were they founders, who were they, did they serve in the military, were they law enforcement officers, you know, where are their family now? One of the cemeteries I ran into, it looked like it had been almost all but forgotten. It's got overgrown grass, overgrown trees, and didn't look like it had been mowed at all last year or even this year. However, when you research it on the Googles, there is pictures of it with short, where the grass is trimmed and the trees are cut down. So this new growth that has happened probably in the last 2 to 3 years or so. I've been visiting a lot of cemeteries, a lot of churches lately, and looking at the names, looking at the dates, looking at the people. And like I mentioned, you know, wondering who they were, you know, where they come from, what they did for a living. And I don't know, maybe it's as a person's life changes, a person's final years are in, you know, are kind of in the distant sight, that you can see them coming. Sometimes your thoughts change, your interest changes to something that you never thought you would ever be interested in. But thanks for coming along with me on this little video day trip kind of journey. We'll probably make another run back to that area. There was a couple things that I couldn't shoot because I couldn't get down to where I needed the right angles to shoot from. But hey, that gives me an excuse to go back there, and it is what it is.